Studs up, back for another week. Welcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening in your, again, tens of thousands on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Gosh, honestly, it's blockbuster. We can't actually fit everything in within the hour. There's too much to talk about here. And with that being said, I'm going to do a joint introduction, my first ever joint introduction, because we've got no time. We've got to get into it. The people want to hear. It's been a ruthless week in football. There's been 2 managers dismissed, 2 projects abandoned, 2 PR statements prepared, and still, amongst all the sackings, Jason Cundy and Rory Jennings are still here. Everyone's
Not sacked yet.
How?
Not sacked yet.
How? How's it?
Well, things can change quickly in football, as we well know.
How are you both doing? All right?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah?
Good, you're right. Lots going on, isn't there?
So much. But you know what? Before we even get into football, we found out this is crazy. Okay, revelation. Rory Jennings has a different coffee order depending on what coffee place he goes to.
Yes, he did put in the group, I'm being a diva. We all thought it.
We all thought it.
I did also say to our boss, I was like, look, I totally concede that this is sackable behaviour.
You did say
I'm not
that,
a proud
yeah.
man. If you want, I'll walk now. I'll go. I won't cause you any trouble. It's
Do you
not a
know
fair
what,
dismissal.
Rob?
It's completely fair dismissal.
It did feel, when I'm going through your message, I'm going, I have no idea that you have so many choices at different coffee shops.
Yeah.
So you can walk down the road, depending what you pass.
Yeah.
Your coffee choice will change.
Yeah, it will be affected by the barista.
I mean, I'm
So, for example, if you're going to go to a standard chain, a bog standard on the front, right, on the high street, then you go standard, generic coffee.
Okay.
If you're going to go to a slightly more hipster alternative, then I will go for a slightly more crafted coffee.
So if I'm just going to chuck 3 so independent coffee place, 3 wheels downstairs, what are you going for?
There, I'd probably go for like a double macchiato, something like that. Pret, they can't make a mistake. You just got to go basic. You go flat white.
What about a Starbucks?
I would avoid.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. If I'm at a motorway service station, I can make my peace with it.
Yeah.
But it's if I'm in a motorway service station or in Coventry or something like that. That's good.
Right, we best move on because he's completely out of himself here. We'll get into football now, and then everyone in the comments is going to go, football chat starts in 3 minutes. We know, okay? We've been waffling. Here we go. It's a pair of Franks are the first 2 discussions. We'll talk about the first one. Thomas Frank, sacked, man. And virtually every single Spurs fan that I have heard from, spoke to, are really relieved about it. We'll start with you, Jace, on this one. Was it inevitable? Did it have to happen, do you think?
He couldn't keep his job. They are looking over their shoulder. I mean, I work with O'Hara. He's genuinely concerned that Championship football is a potential next season. Look, do I think they'll go down? No. Could it happen? 100%.
Yeah.
This is not inconceivable to think that they could continue on this spiral. And the results they picked up, they are, I think, the joint worst side currently on the last 6 games in the Premier League.
God.
That can't carry on. They're looking over their shoulder. What also is the problem is that West Ham have shown a little bit more spirit, and it looks like Nuno's finally, at the right time, gathering a little bit of momentum. That's worrying. If West Ham have been losing games, I think he might have stayed on a bit longer. You can't take that risk. There is the embarrassment and the humiliation to think that Spurs, for the second season on the spin, by the way, and this is close to the last, might be a Championship club. You got to pull the trigger. And if you spoke to Thomas Frank privately, he would say, fair enough, because that ain't good enough.
No, of course. What do you think, Roy? In fact, I'll one-up it. Do you think they should have got rid of him earlier? Because there's been a few warning signs now.
It's such a difficult one, because I rate Frank as a manager. I think he's a good manager, but I also admit that he's made a pig's ear in his job.
Yeah.
It's not been good enough. The only reason why I think you can insulate him from a little bit of the criticism is, if you were to ask me to write a list of 10 problems at Tottenham, I don't think the manager, whoever it is, whether it's Frank, whether it's Postecoglou, it doesn't matter who the manager is. I think that there is an epidemic going on at the club. There is a major problem in the running of the club, in the ambition of the club. So Thomas Frank is almost the public face of it, but I don't know how much of it you can level at him.
Last season they underachieved. They know won the Europa League. Okay, are Spurs, the current squad, better than where they are?
Yes.
Oh, and then when you answer that question,
but then they're worse than where they are in Europe.
Yeah, and that is an anomaly. I can't get my head around the fact that they are performing in Europe. Yeah, and 2 seasons on the spin, domestically, having an absolute stinker.
No, I know.
None of it makes sense, but you cannot...
Yeah.
You cannot go into the last knockings of a Premier League season in a relegation battle if you're Spurs. That can't happen.
The timing of it makes no sense to me, though. I know they've got this gap because they're not in the FA Cup now, before they play Arsenal.
13 days.
They've got 13 days before they play Arsenal. But I don't know who you can get. The problem is there isn't like an obvious choice. You know when people are saying, "Oh, if they sack him now, they can do X, Y, and Z." It kind of makes sense. Whereas now you're looking at it and you're like, the names that I've heard linked, I find fairly uninspiring.
Yeah.
You know, it's looking like it could be De Zerbi. It's looking like it might be Robbie Keane. I mean, I've seen Ryan Mason's name linked as well, which feels fairly underwhelming. But they basically can't go down.
No, of course
they can't go down, and they could.
Well, yeah. Do you know what? This is. I kind of
Both
feel
are
where.
true,
Yeah, they could. I feel like where Man United were, obviously we weren't in as bad a shape, but when you talk about the managers that have been linked to the club, that's why I do understand having an interim, and fortunately for Man United, it seems to have worked. But I think there's a lack of quality managers. There's a manager shortage out there.
But look at their
really
squads. When you think about the players that they have at their disposal, particularly when you think about the injuries, if you were to say, where should this squad be? I think Tottenham, without the injury issue, say Kulusevski had played a full season, I'd go, they're probably sort of the top 8 team, something like that. With the injury, you know, when you look at that front 6, out of that front 6, none of them get into any other team in the top 6.
No, they're shot to pieces. They are. Which I feel for Frank in that respect, though. I mean, they've had virtually only 11 first-team players at his disposal.
Cry me a river, honestly.
Why? Can you not use that as an excuse?
No, and I'll tell you why. You're in the Premier League. It's a multi-billion-pound industry. Spurs have been in this Premier League since its inception in 1992. They know how this works. You need a squad. You build a squad. Don't tell me that injury... I know injuries can affect things, but not to the level we're talking about getting relegated. Don't come near me with that.
If you were,
you can suffer, but not suffer.
Let's say in an alternate reality, you were the Spurs manager right now, and you had the exact same results as Thomas Frank, and the board asked you, what are the reasons? Would that not be top of your list, though? I mean, it is a good reason.
No, it's one of many, as Rory's alluded to. It's one of many. This football club, from top to bottom, is rotten.
Yeah.
And it's been like this. You go back. Let's go back to Martin Jol. Let's go back as far as Harry Redknapp.
Ramos.
We are talking about every season. We're having a similar conversation about Spurs. It's now got to a level where we're now talking about getting relegated. Before, it was must finish top 4, right? Must get Europe. Must be top half.
Because you know what?
Must not get relegated.
The reason why this is so ridiculous is because Tottenham are a big club. Huge stadium, unbelievable training facilities, outrageously big support. Like, they are ready to be a top side. So the fact that they're not is clearly mismanagement, because they have all of the infrastructure in place for them to be a team capable of winning silverware, capable of winning a Premier League. If you think about the infrastructure of the club, it's up there with the very best. So what's going wrong? And you've got to look at the recruitment policy, you've got to look at the way that they spend money, you've got to look at the way or the rates that they're ready to pay their players.
Yeah.
You know, they're not operating as a big club, despite the fact that, but reluctantly, I have to concede that they are a big club.
So here's the problem they've also found themselves in, is the squad, the quality of the squad, the depth of the squad is one thing, but then you're talking about characters, right? When I look at Spurs' squad, is there a squad there that's ready to fight? These players are used to be playing for some of the biggest clubs throughout the history, winning World Cups. This is not a squad that's built to scrap. And that's why I think West Ham are starting to find a little bit more form. They're prepared to scrap. I'm not sure the Spurs squad is prepared to roll up their sleeves and scrap.
Who do you want with you in the trenches, really, when you think about that Tottenham side? Almost none of them. You look at West Ham and you're like, Souček will have a good go, Potts will have a good go. Like, they've got players that will give it some. Whether or not they survive, whether or not they succeed, it's almost not the point. But the rivals for relegation, give me Elliot Anderson all day long. Give me Potts all day long. Give me players and then you're looking at the Tottenham side and you're like, the players should be good.
Does Richarlison look like the sort of boy that's gonna fight? He'll be walking up. He's doing his pigeon checking, whatever he's doing.
You're looking at the kids as well at Tottenham. It's all youngsters.
I know.
You know, and then the players that are supposed to lead by example, Romero.
That's the one, isn't it?
Romero. I think Romero got him sacked because I think the ownership will be going, hold on. Whether or not Romero's correct, I think you could have a conversation around, is his point accurate? It's not his point to make.
No.
It's not his responsibility to be talking about the recruitment policy of the club that pays wages.
Yeah, and the board are looking at it thinking, you can't control your captain.
Yeah.
Your captain you can't control. So you're absolutely right, it would have contributed. Before we move on from Spurs, I'll finish on this. What are Spurs? I don't know if that broadly has been asked, but what are Spurs? What would you... Let's say Chelsea can dip in and out of a title race. They can always be in for a cup. Manchester United, the most successful team, one of the most successful teams in the Premier League. Liverpool, Premier League champions.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what you expect from your club every season. What is it that Spurs should be expecting?
They're a big club that doesn't know how to act like a big club, behave like a big club, win like a big club.
They're a punchline now, aren't they? Like what they were and what they once represented was a great cup team, the first team to do the double, like a great institution of football. And whilst they still are, I don't want to be too snide to them because they are still a lot of those things. But I think their own fans would have to admit that they have become a punchline.
Yeah.
Who finished third in a 2-horse race? They've become that. And the fact that we're now talking not only about Tottenham going down and it not being crazy, but imagine you juxtapose Tottenham going down with Arsenal winning the league in the same season.
That is brutal.
Darkest day in their history, isn't it?
That is brutal. The fact that they're North London rivals, who, if you went back 7-8 years ago, Spurs were probably ahead of Arsenal.
Yeah.
Now
and it's just a million missed opportunities. They could have won a league, Tottenham. Like they really could.
I know.
It's no comfort to Tottenham fans here, but they actually should have won it. You know, the year when they finished second, they didn't buy anyone.
Yeah, they had a self-imposed transfer.
They got to the Champions League final and they didn't buy anyone. You're like, what are you doing?
That's perfect time to build, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it should be.
Well, now Levy's gone, you do wonder whether there will be, going into the summer, a different transfer approach.
Yeah.
But
Needs to
that
be.
transfer, not if you're in the Championship. You might not see big clubs have gone down in the past.
It would
Villa,
ruin Tottenham.
Newcastle, Leeds. They're the three biggest clubs I can think of that have been relegated. And it took Leeds went down to third tier of English football. And I'm not saying that's going up to Spurs, but let me tell you, I've played in that league. That is a tough league.
Yeah.
That you can't just rock up and think we're Spurs. We'll do it our way.
No. You become everyone's cup final as well. Imagine like all of the teams in the Championship going to play at Tottenham.
And that's to say you retain all the players when you go down as
Mate,
well.
they could go, you know. They could go. How do they get this right? What do they do? Who do they bring in?
It's difficult.
Who keeps them up?
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem they've got. Sacking a manager is always half the job. And in some ways, it's the easiest part because the decision has been made. Now, do they go interim? Do they go full term? People talk about De Zerbi, Xabi Alonso. I'm not quite sure.
Never.
But right now, this is probably going to be the most important decision Spurs have made. Maybe in 20 years, because they are in grave danger. Their fixtures that are coming up, they've got North London Derby coming up in a couple of weeks,
Oh my
right?
gosh!
And let me tell you, if West Ham pick up what is it now? 4 points?
Yeah.
Right. Wowzers.
Right, Rory, you hear me mention at the top of every show, this is brought to you by talkSPORT Bet. Have you had a chance to check them out yet?
Yeah, I have, mate. Yeah. And more importantly, I've checked out the welcome offer. It is actually ridiculous.
It really is. It really is. And I'll tell you guys exactly what that is. It is bet £10 and get £40 in free bets, not up to. £40 in free bets, and you've just got to go to www.talksportbet.com/studsup, and we'll put the link in the description as well.
Mate, it's one of those. If you are betting anything this weekend, whatever you are thinking of doing, you basically have to do it this way. You bet a tenner, you get £40 free bets.
That's unreal. Well worth snapping up, and I'll tell you the URL again. It's talksportbet.com/studsup. 18 plus, obviously, and gamble responsibly. Now let's get back to the chaos.
From one Frank to another, West Ham won, Manchester United won. We've got to talk about it, lads. I can see the looks on your face, but there is a here he goes. There you go, Cameron Andreson Cundy. Here we go. Right, so we've got Frank, the United Strand, as he's referred to. He's not cutting his hair until Man United win 5 games in a row. Of course, 4 games. We get to that Champions League final for him. He's streaming it, and bang, Manchester United. As what can happen in the Premier League, West Ham are one of the most informed sides in the league. Me as a Man United fan, I was happy with that result by the end of it, because we didn't really show up. That's 4 wins and a draw now across 5. I was happy. Šeško finish was unbelievable, something to shout about. But for Frank and social media, it felt like a disappointment, which leads on to my follow-up question. Rory Jennings, is this good for the game or bad for the game? There is such a microscope now on whether Man United should win 5 in a row.
I mean, I think it's irrelevant for the game. Like, I don't understand how someone I've never met having a haircut, like, the people I adore in my life, like my wife, my children, I don't care if they get haircuts. It's the least interesting thing. It's the least interesting thing about people I love, let alone someone I've never met.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how this has managed to permeate football. I don't understand how a bloke choosing to get a haircut, I don't care if you cut your hair, mate. No. I literally couldn't care less. So I don't understand how it's become like such a noteworthy thing. Like, how can Michael Carrick be legitimately asked a question by a journalist regarding some geezer who lives in Spain having a haircut?
Yeah. do you think it adds to the kind of meme culture? Like we said, Spurs are a bit of a joke. Do you think it adds to that, Jace? That, you know, Man United haven't even mustered up 5 games in a row. We've got actually something we can measure that against.
5 games in a row to win is hard.
Yeah. I know.
It's really difficult.
I know.
I think only 3, maybe 4 teams have done it this season in the Premier League.
Up the Chelsea.
Villa have done it. Man City have done it. Arsenal have done it. I might miss one off that, but the point I'm making is so difficult. I totally agree, Rory. It has nothing to do with football.
No.
But it is part of the culture that we now live in, social media. I think there's probably a little, because it feels like there's a bit of a wave that's turned on him. I think there may be a bit of envy now.
There is a
because
bit.
He's now starting, would it appear, monetize it. Good luck to him, but I'm bored of it now. I think it's probably, whatever purpose it was set out to do, and it's probably gone far bigger and wider than he ever imagined it would.
Yeah.
And he's gathered so much attention. I think it's over. I think it's done. Yeah. What if I was him? What I would do? I would cut it at the end of the season. I would then start again.
Oh, you can't do
that.
But
you can't. You can't, because he is going to now go through the whole summer. Right? It's going to. No one's going to be interested in the summer because there's no games.
It should include pre-season friendlies. That's what I say.
I think it depends what his motivations are. Like, I think when he first started this, I think it was funny and it was probably quite a noble thing.
We all dipped in.
It was quite funny to begin with. But I think what it's now clearly become, and this is why maybe some Manchester United fans are slightly put out by it, he's earning a lot of money.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of envy.
Yeah,
I'm getting that vibe.
And I think good luck to you. Know, anyone that can kind of earn some money, good luck to him. I certainly don't have an issue with that. What I think he needs to do, though, is kind of admit that he's constantly pushing forward that it's a noble project.
But do you not
going to raise money for
charities. Do you not think that this has kind of gone to a level he didn't expect it
100%.
Yeah. So
you can't expect him to not enjoy.
I think it's just landed on his plate, and he can't quite believe it.
I respect it. I do. He's got over 1 million followers now. I think
it's good luck to him.
I think it's a bit of fun. I do. I like it. I have to say
that what you've just said there is a microcosm of everything wrong with football. In fact, everything wrong with the world. This guy, who is a Manchester United fan, who lives in Valencia, who has decided not to cut his hair, the least skilled thing in the world. I'm not going to cut my hair. No skill. Has amassed more followers on social media than Paul Scholes.
It's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the times, though. Good for him.
Paul Scholes won 13 league titles for Manchester United, and somehow this geezer not trimming his barnet has got more followers. If that isn't a perfect representation of the world being broken and football being broken, I don't know what is.
I mean, it is fun. Look, we can't take it too seriously because it's not. He sums it up beautifully. But there will come a point, if you want to attract this sort of attention, inevitably there are going to be people that have an opinion on it, and it is a bit dull and boring now. I've seen the little clips. I can't watch them. Him jumping up and down when you equalise or whatever happened.
Also, the thing is, what you can't be doing is you can't be profiting from Manchester United's demise.
No,
that's what you can't.
Arsenal Fan TV have been doing it for years.
That's true. Arsenal Fan TV benefit both ways. They benefit.
Well, how have they benefited in the last 20 years?
Arsenal Fan TV, Robbie on Arsenal Fan TV would certainly benefit when Arsenal win silverware.
Oh no! The reason they are where they are is because they've been crap for the last 20 years.
100%.
That's why they are. Now the payoff.
The Wenger out stuff was one of their best eras. Do you know what I mean?
Look at their biggest videos will be when they win an FA Cup. So they benefit.
Oh, they've only got one big video in 20 years. Is that what you're saying?
They beat us in a couple. Their biggest videos will be both bad and good. Whereas this guy only benefits bad.
Yes, sure. Well, for now, we don't know what he might do if we get to 5 wins. We don't know. But you're absolutely right in this moment in time. I'm going to one-up it then, lads. Here we go. It's the third time I've one-upped it. I realise I keep saying that. I've got 2 contracts prepared for the listener, for the viewer, for Jason Cundy and for Rory Jennings, okay? What will these 2 lads in front of me be prepared to do when Chelsea win 5 games in a row? It says, I, Rory Jennings, promise not to, or 2, and then it's a little blank piece on the page there, until Chelsea win 5 games in a row. I want you to pick a forfeit and sign it. Jace, what will you do if Chelsea win 5 in a row?
I've changed it, the contract. You have to go through the lawyers here.
I'll speak to them.
Give it the due diligence that it
deserves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I, Jason Cundy, promise to go topless I know, that's a stunning statement already. So go topless and do a studs up topless when Chelsea win 5 games in a row.
Oh, are you going to sign that? We've got the camera on Jason Cundy signing the contracts.
Mate, imagine our viewership will spike.
Oh my gosh.
We will become the housewives' favourite.
The ladies, yeah, exactly, yeah. My God.
The housewives will be watching. New subscribers for Studs Up.
Right, so hold that up and show the camera if you can there, Jason.
Topless. I just spelled topless. To go topless when Chelsea win 5 games in a row.
There
you go. Signed, not dated yet though.
No.
It is. I don't want to put the date.
It's the 12th.
It's the 12th. Okay, the 12th. There you go.
Right, Rory Jennings, what will you do
I will.
when Chelsea win 5 games in a row? I appreciate
Chelsea,
it's slightly different
Chelsea
when they do it.
Rory Jennings promised to apologise to both Blue Co.
Oh my word.
No.
To both Blue Co.
Yeah.
And Liam Rossini.
Oh! When Chelsea win 5 games in a row.
When we win 5.
Wow! So I mean, we're on opposite ends of the spectrum here.
So
One's going topless,
and I'll apologise for going topless as well.
Hey, that would be our most viewed video ever.
Honestly, when Chelsea are on 4 wins in a row, everyone's going to be holding their breath.
I better start going.
There it is, up to the camera. There you are. We've got it. Look at that. Wow! Apologise to Blue Coat and the gaffer. That's fair play,
and we'll
Rory.
cross that imaginary bridge when we get
You've just done it.
Well,
You've just done it.
I mean, we got actually quite a tricky end towards the end of the season.
Yeah, it gets hard now.
Yeah, but we've got still in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Champions League. Yeah, we'll have hopefully, fingers crossed, there's more games to come.
Whoa, lads! What have you got yourself in for here? And Studs Up, viewers and listeners, don't say I don't treat you with that.
Hold on.
Go on.
Isn't there someone missing?
Well, this is the thing. As a presenter, right?
Yeah.
What? In fact, no. I'm gonna immediately retract. There's already someone within the Man United fan base doing it for us. Yeah.
No.
Go
this
on.
is Studs Up.
Oh,
This is Studs Up.
Well,
what about you? Shave your beard.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I reckon that. Shave your beard.
Get the beard off. You want to do a hair based?
How attached to your beard are you?
I mean, it won't take long. You've got a good beard.
I love my beard.
What's that? About 4 weeks?
Yesterday, actually, I was clean shaven because I'm half Indian. So
they do come through at a rapid rate of knots, don't they?
They do. Do you know what? I will shave the beard when Man United win 5 games in a row. We'll get a contract and I'll sign that one.
Clean shave, yeah?
I'll do a clean shave or I leave a little moustache or something, whatever you guys want.
Okay,
whatever you fancy.
Oh, do you know, I want the old George Michael one.
Yeah.
I'll do a handlebar for a show. I'll do a handlebar for a show. Deal. Oh gosh. No, that guy feels. No, Frank feels. I've gone all hot. Right, here we go. Last hot topic here is a really, really good one. I thought, genuinely, this was talkSPORT at its best the other day. We've really pivoted here, haven't we? Eni Aluko was on White and Jordan, obviously giving her side of events, and like I say, it was dealt with beautifully. What I wanted to do, rather than hone in on Eni Aluko herself and what Simon said, really was widen the point here. In punditry, if punditry was based purely on a footballing CV, right, then Rory wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here.
Well, you would be.
I wouldn't be here.
But if it was based on,
but if you're going on illustrious careers. Right, I wouldn't be sat here.
But you played the game at the top level. You're so self-deprecating.
No.
You played for Chelsea.
The truth is, I didn't win any medals. Didn't win a Premier League.
Jason,
there are players out there.
Wild.
No, it's true. It's true.
Jason, you played.
You still played at the top level, though.
Tottenham.
You still played at the top level. I understand what you're saying.
You're not part of this. You're not part of this club.
No,
maybe not that club.
Yeah,
but I'm not part of that club either.
You are. You 100% are.
Well, like I say, if it was based purely on a footballing CV, Rory wouldn't be here. But if it was based on purely media ability, then half the ex-pros wouldn't be here either. So I'll put it out to the table. What matters more? So, I personally, I think you both, quite rightly sat where you're sat right now. But what matters more? Because we talked about, Eni was talking about 105 caps just sat on the bench, but everybody, I think a lot of the internet agreed that is solely not what it's about, is caps. It's about the media ability as well. So what matters more? Is it just a combination of the two? Jace, you're saying maybe you tread that line.
I've been doing this since 2004-05, right? So I've been doing this a long time now. And like I said, if it was based on England caps, medals, I wouldn't be the job. But you need to be personable. Radio is entertaining. That's the thing that you need to try and get across. In particular, radio, you need to be entertaining. It's slightly different from being a pundit on a Match of the Day or Sky. That's slightly different. They go into a bit more depth, a bit more analysis. My job, I believe, is to entertain.
Yes.
And you can have it in many different ways. You can have a row with someone who phones up, wants to have a row with me, or you can be a silly idiot, which I play very well as well. But it's somewhere in between. But that's my job. And of course, when you do go into big games such as England during the World Cup, and if Thomas Tuchel goes out a little bit like Southgate did because he didn't make certain changes, you've got to inform the audience about what I feel was wrong. But ultimately, my job in radio, first and foremost, is you want to engage the audience, you want to be entertaining, you want them to come away either laughing or crying.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Well, that's a great answer. Rory, I'm really interested in yours as well. Where do you, because you're navigating this yourself.
I think there are certain criteria that I will always listen to. So, for example, somebody like Paul Scholes, who won 13 league titles, was an ever-present in 2 of the great Alex Ferguson teams. I will obviously listen when he speaks. So I don't think that he needs to be judged on the same yardstick as others. He doesn't need to be entertaining. He doesn't need to be particularly good at having a row. He just needs to speak and we can listen. When Wayne Rooney speaks, when Jamie Carragher speaks, when anyone who's played the game at that elite level speaks, I will always listen.
Yeah. But
I do quite like the fact that the world has moved in the direction that opens a door for people like, if we make me the sort of representation of it.
Sure.
Because it's a meritocracy. There was a time when the media was a particularly closed shop. And I quite like the fact now that people like me, even if you dislike me, I'm talking more about what I represent. I quite like the fact now that people have a chance.
Yeah.
And it isn't just how many times have you played for England, or it isn't just do you know somebody, does your father work at the company, that, like, it's now because of social media, because of YouTube, there is now an opportunity for people like me, and I don't think that that's a bad thing.
No, that's a fantastic answer. I think we can all agree there's a nice middle ground, isn't there? It doesn't necessarily.
Do you know what's interesting?
Go on.
Not the only people, of course not, but the people who I feel are most put out by me being here, and when I say me again, I just mean a representation of me, what I represent. It's actually former pros. More so than other YouTubers or anything like that.
It's kind of where any Luco, what she was saying in a way, that she felt like the pedigree that she had because she's played the game, because she's got skin in the game, means that she should trump other people. So that that doesn't shock me, to be honest with you. So it's really interesting. I was glad I got both of you.
Can I ask Rory a question as well? Yeah. What about journos, presenters that have worked their way up to be in a position? Because my experience in football, most footballers I've known, played with or get on with, we're good lads. You know, there's not. I find that actually the people in my industry, it's some of the presenters that have worked to get there, you know, went to university, got a degree. They're the ones that when I first come into the industry, I felt going,
100% agree. 100% agree. And to qualify it, the people who I'm lucky enough to work with, the people who are in work, Jason Cundy, Jamie O'Hara, Carlton Cole, gentlemen, to a man, gentlemen, incredibly welcoming. It's the ones that aren't in the building. They can often fire. And I never get involved, right? But they can often fire. But it is interesting. I would say that I went to the World Cup in Qatar, and I was around the more linear journalists, the more linear version of the journalists. No, the fact that I was from YouTube, and I was with a crew that were from YouTube, really us and them,
crazy.
really us and them. You know, I'm talking about that
the stigma still attached
the
to
true representation of that linear media, old school media, Fleet Street.
I get it. No, I get it.
Didn't like us.
And you know the reason why I don't answer Rory's question and like why I can't answer that. Personally, I don't position myself as a super fan or a fan of that. I go for the Laura Woods. Laura Woods inspires me. The Jim Whites, the Andy Goldsteins of the building, the Jason Cundy. You played the game, though. You played the game. You know, I look towards people like you said, kind of work their way through the industry, gain respect as a presenter. So I actually wouldn't position, albeit I've not played the game, but I'm in football. I wouldn't position myself where Rory Jennings. So that, you know, there's so many avenues.
I'm a YouTuber, and I think you're a presenter.
Yeah.
And I think that the way that the world looks at those two things are very different.
Yeah.
I think that YouTuber can still be used as quite an insulting term.
Yeah.
Whereas a presenter isn't. A presenter can be lauded, and rightly so, by the way. But I'm quite proud of being a YouTuber, but I think it is still seen in quite a negative light.
Yeah, sure. Amazing. I'm glad we did that question. And we're going to move on to another question, or rather one of you two being questioned, because we're doing a reoccurring segment. We're doing comment of the week. So we picked out the best comments. Again, in your thousands, you've been commenting on the back of last week's episode on a weekly basis. This is now, lads. You're really driving some engagement here. So let's go. Comment of the week. We've got a jingle. Can we play the jingle?
good.
Hey,
Really good.
that's
good.
not bad,
Really
eh?
good.
Little 80s style.
Almost a
Feels
Kid
an
Wild
80s,
there.
70s style.
Love it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, 70s, 80s we're going
Keep
for.
me hanging on.
Yeah.
Only about Flashdance.
Yeah, exactly.
If that was in
Very
Flashdance,
much
you would
that,
not have been
yeah,
surprised.
yeah.
Don't say we're not stepping things up. All right, lads, we're going places. Right, so this is on the back of your Kai Havertz rant last week, Rory. Did some good numbers on social media, let me tell you that. So in response to you saying you basically couldn't wait to see the back of him, iz.xi.stardust, okay, has responded, and he said he is 26 years old. He's maturing and turning into the player Chelsea thought he already was. Chelsea doesn't develop players, they buy ready-made or throw them away. Kai has been growing year on year since he arrived at Arsenal. That is why he pointed to the badge. Arsenal have been patient with him. Kai was one of the toys at Chelsea that they threw out the pram. What have you got to say to that, Rory Jennings?
I mean, I think none of that is true. I think that we do develop.
By the way, they bought Noni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think it's fair to say that he came to Chelsea and left a better player, and that's why Arsenal paid what they did.
Yeah, exactly.
So that completely does what you want to do on his chips.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It does, doesn't it?
So you're both of the same opinion there. Then.
No, it's funny. That Kai Havertz one really did get some traction. And do you know when people were going to me, like, why are you so hateful? Like, well, I've got a lot of that. Why are you?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how do you find the time? Rory, you're a lucky guy. You've got 2 kids. You've got a doting
I
wife.
saw a few of them, yeah.
How do you find the time to be this hateful? I'm like, I find the time.
Yeah.
I dedicate the time.
I make
I
the
cut out a bit of my day to think of how much I dislike Kai Havertz.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's called commitment.
Yeah, fair. And you know what? Fair play to you. He's gone on to say, last line here, that is the cultural difference between the two fan bases. What have you got to say with that?
Explain the question. What's the question? What cultural difference between two fan bases? What does that mean? What's the question?
He's saying you picked up Kai, you threw him away because it's just another one of your toys out the pram.
Well, I mean, look.
Whereas Arsenal developing him.
Kai left as a disappointment. There is no getting away from that. He left as a disappointment. He was billed as a generational talent.
Yeah.
We actually made money on Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at the wages that he was on, the money we got, it made financial sense for that to happen. Arsenal moving in a different direction. He is not yet, and I totally disagree. He's saying that he's the player that Chelsea want to see. I'm sorry, he reached bigger heights than Chelsea. He hasn't been fit. I feel for that because that's no fault of his own. Well, he's not reached the heights.
No.
He's nowhere near it.
Also, I think
nowhere near this
Arsenal
generational
fans,
talent.
and our friend Stardust here is quite a good representation of this. They're pretending that Kai Havertz has broken Cliff Baston's record that Ian Wright broke. They're pretending. They're pretending that he's like Thierry Henry incarnate. Realistically, how good has Kai Havertz been for Arsenal?
No, he's been
all right.
Just for the record, right? Just for the record, Eddie Nketiah has scored more goals for Arsenal than Kai Havertz. Nicholas Bentner has scored more goals for Arsenal than Kai Havertz. Oof. So let's just all calm down. This kind of egg on Chelsea's face because of how brilliant Kai Havertz has been. So far, he's gone there 1-0.
Well, there you go, Stardust. You can have that one.
Put that in your pipe.
But put that in your pipe and smoke it. But let me tell you, the comment of the week, it's nothing to reply to. It's just what I'm picking out as comment of the week. Comes to you saying that it's the worst era in Premier League football, at least the dullest. Delboy610 says, worst TalkSPORT era ever with you on. And that's the comment of the week. Can we play the jingle again? Can we get the jingle? That was comment of the week. Let's
comment. You can't argue with that. When they come and they do you, sometimes in life you just have to go, do you know what? He's done me there. It's like what Joe Cole did to Rio Ferdinand, like when we won the league in, 05?
Yeah.
Just hold your hands up. He's done me.
Yeah.
Great comment from him.
Amazing. Well done, Delboy.
By the way, TalkSport's figures are flying.
Yeah.
I just want to say that. Can I just say, TalkSport's figures are flying.
Yeah. We can all have a laugh and a joke, but it's the best
Don't
era.
argue the numbers.
Yeah. It is the best era ever, actually. So, right, there we go. Comment of the week. I love that. We're doing that every single week. On to a bit of Premier League reaction now. I guess we can only start with... It feels like we've already talked about this because we talked about Sackings and stuff. But Sean Dyche...
I can't believe it.
Yeah. Is that where you are?
I can believe it.
I can't believe
they're a shambles.
This, even by those crazy... Nothing but respect for Mr. Marinakis. But by those standards, this is nuts. Even by the lunacy that we have seen at that club this season, this is nuts, right?
Yeah, it is nuts. I feel
yeah.
in the heat of a
in 1 year.
Yeah,
you're in a relegation battle. You've got rid of... Who are you going to bring in another Sean Dyche? I'm
Spurs should go for him.
Yeah,
No, seriously.
Well,
that's
what I mean, though.
I'm not saying that is even as a joke.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Because you're talking about interim manager.
Yeah.
Who do you want to get you out? I mean,
That's what I
really
mean.
Forest need to employ someone like Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
But they don't, that's where, I mean, maybe it won't happen, but Rory's right. It's nuts. But it's not a massive surprise.
Yeah.
It's not a massive surprise. They drew at home against Wolves.
Oh, but if
when they need a win.
If they go down now, though, surely you're going to look at this moment and go, you should have hung on to a manager who has credentials in the league.
Which one? Nuno? Big Ange?
Yeah.
Dyche? Where do you want to
Do you know what?
Yeah.
If you're a West Ham fan, a Tottenham fan, you're now looking at the sacking of Dyche and you go, thank God. You're happy. And I imagine if you're a Forest fan, you go, what?
I know.
What are we doing? This is great, like absolutely great. Like there is no rationale here. 4 managers in one season. It gets to the stage where the managers are obviously not the problem.
Can we just talk a little bit about the top, Marinakis? And it all seems to have really changed since Edu's come in.
Yeah, it does.
So that is probably a pivotal point in why, and I'm not saying that he single-handedly is responsible for where Forest are on the pitch, but if you look back on a timeline, this started when Edu come in at Forest, or there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Edu fell out with Nuno.
Yeah.
And I just wonder now whether Marinakis, that decision to bring him in was a over the clubs, not
Felt
just
like a real coup, didn't it?
Yeah. I just wonder whether that decision might be the
Imagine the
catalyst for
poetry.
this.
Imagine the poetry in football. If Nuno Espirito Santo keeps West Ham United up
He could dunk on him.
in place of Forest going down.
It would be. It feels like it's written in the stars, to be honest,
I
the
think
way
it's
it's
a real
unraveling.
shame, mate, because you know what? I was so happy when Forest came up.
Yeah.
I think they're a great club. I think they belong in the top flight. When I was a kid, they were brilliant. Brian Roy, Stan Collymore, Ian Woan, that side. They were a good side.
Yeah.
I wanted them back in the Premier League for years, decades, in fact. When I do a lot of England aways, you see a lot of Forest fans out and about. A good support. I want them down now. I genuinely want them to go down. Not in place of Tottenham.
No.
But
Would you want Tottenham to go down?
You don't want Tottenham
I
to go
want them
down.
to go down for 1 year.
I know, but then
I want them to go down for 1 year.
But you might not see him for another 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's what I don't want them to do.
I would
Leeds.
miss Spurs.
I would.
Of course
as well.
you would.
I would. I miss 6
They
points
need
a
to be
year
in
as
the
well.
6 points.
But
They need to be in the Prem.
I-
They need to be in the Prem.
Realistically, I don't really want Forest to go down or West Ham. Realistically, I find that football can be so dull, so trying. It can be a chore. Whereas when Leeds United turn up at Stamford Bridge, you've got a spring in your step. When you're going away to Forest, you've got a spring in your step. It's good clubs, good fan bases, good history, and that's what I want in the Premier League. But yeah,
Well,
of course I want
one of
Tottenham
those
to
is
go
gonna go
down.
down.
Of course,
Jace, do you
them
want Spurs to stay up then?
Yeah, I do. And
Can you just say that again? It's I want Spurs to stay
I
up.
don't want Spurs to get relegated because, okay, who would you rather play? Right, I'm asking you on a Super Sunday, Middlesbrough or Spurs?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Come on,
No,
the
you're
Premier League is
absolutely
dull
right.
enough,
No,
right?
the Premier League needs Tottenham. It needs the big clubs. It needs Sheffield Wednesday. I completely agree. But I do want them to go for 1 year.
If they did go,
Of course, I want Tottenham to go down. It would be absolutely brilliant. It would be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, but we would miss them. It's a little
you
bit
what-
like when Rangers.
Yeah, Celtic.
Celtic-
I'll tell you what, I'll swap. I will relinquish any dream of being in the Champions League for Man City to win the league and for Tottenham to go down. I consider that a victorious season for Chelsea. That would be our victory. I consider
Say
that
that
great.
one more time.
So we finished 6th, but City win the league, so Arsenal don't.
You've got me interested.
And Tottenham go down,
so you've-
City win the league, and we finish 6th.
You've lost him.
I take it.
Yeah, I'm not.
He's not necessarily on board
No.
with it. You're a fair man, Jace.
If they would, I miss those big games. There are probably half a dozen big games at Stamford Bridge all season. Genuinely big, like elite games. Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Spurs, Arsenal,
Tottenham, West Ham.
Tottenham, West Ham, Leeds. I love Leeds. I mean,
Yeah, you
other
lose
than that-
one of them.
other
No,
than that,
no.
it
When
is a
Bournemouth
bit-
turn up or Brentford
you know-
turn up, it's trying, man.
Well, you play
boring.
Spurs second last game, 17th of May in the Premier
We
League.
could
by the way.
relegate them. That could be historic. That could.
Can you believe it?
That would be up there, like when we scored 6 at the Lane or 5 at Wembley.
Oh.
Like this would be up there, like when we beat them 4-0 twice in 3
Imagine
days.
It could come down to the wire.
Mate,
It's
we've
quite
been on some
plausible.
games.
Yeah,
This would,
yeah,
Oh my God! Sorry, this is the trophy for us.
yeah.
This is it. This is it. This is bigger than
to
winning this.
relegate Spurs.
Yeah. Yeah. That is.
Have you changed your mind now, Jace? You sound like you're a bit interested now.
But I've got to tell you, the atmosphere will be crackling that day.
Oh, that'd be good.
If we could win to relegate, like stopping them winning the league was great,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we relegate them.
Yeah.
We're singing about that
Look
for
at
100
Rory's
years.
eyes light up. I've never
know.
seen
Oh
him
my
this
God.
excited. Let's talk about Chelsea quickly. Chelsea 2, Leeds 2. Managers' first wobble, I guess, dropping points at home. You've been quite tough on him, Roy. Do you see? Are you underlying any negatives or positives there? Or
It's just a shame.
Yeah.
That's how it felt to me, because then all of the other results went the way that we didn't want them to go. You saw Liverpool winning, you saw Villa winning. You're like,
last minute United equaliser.
Even United get back in the game. Yeah. So it felt like a huge couple of points to drop, actually. And the painful thing about it was all self-destruct.
Yeah.
The game was in the bag. The game was won. It was over. It was over as a contest. And then some foolishness at the back. You then can't legislate for Cole Palmer blazing it over the bar from a yard.
Better than Bruno as well, lads. That's the thing about, you know. So
can I just say on that this squad still can't quite be trusted.
Right.
And there have been shades of things improving in recent weeks, but it still goes to show this squad has its vulnerabilities. It is still capable and we don't deal with, you know, like a boxer getting a whack on the nose. We don't deal with it well. We seem to then lose our stride, lose our pattern, lose our shape, lose all control of the game, and it happens like that. And when Leeds got the second goal, my concern was we were going to lose the game.
Oh, really?
And it happened in a space of about 7 minutes to goals, and then 10 minutes after that, Leeds looked like they had the momentum. Then we wrestled the control back off them, and the last 10, 15, then we got back, but we don't deal with the bloody nose very well.
No. It's youthful though, isn't it?
We can't keep saying it, Raw. We keep every single week, not every week, every month we'll come out and say, oh, there's another example of Chelsea not being able to deal with it. You can't trust this squad. There has to be a point where you get a setback and deal with it.
This has been coming, hasn't it? Like, it happened to come against Leeds, which was very frustrating, but it could have come. Like, we could have easily drawn that West Ham game. We're 2-0 down at half time. Like, you can't keep pulling your chestnuts out of the fire, can you?
No.
You can't keep winning in the most emotional way. Ultimately, it's going to get you. So it's how we react to it now, I think. Everything's fine as long as we bounce back.
Well, I remember Palace away, they're down to 10 men. They score, right? They're down to 10 men. Next 5 minutes.
I know,
right? Same with Wolves away. We're 3-0 up again. They get the goal. And look how we just didn't deal with it. It's such a vulnerable, fragile team. And that if he can do one thing, Messina, is deal with that. Make us more resilient when things don't go our way.
No. Do you still fancy Chelsea for top 4 or 5 Champions League spot?
I think you've got to say yes.
I think you're in amongst it.
I think you've got 100% amongst it.
The form of Manchester United is obviously bad news, and we could have really done with one or both of Villa and Liverpool dropping points. Like the fact that Villa and Liverpool won off the back of us dropping points from 2-0
But the fact Man United drew as well, I think
that's a good result from their perspective. From we got the same way out of the game, but they wrestled it in the last minute. We gave it up for 2-0 up
when you look at it like that, but when you look at the results, I think that there's going to be, between the three, none of them are good enough right now to make any sustained challenge and win it comfortably or getting that full comfortably. You can make a case for all three of them slipping up and all three of them getting there, because actually all three have their frailties.
The problem, I think, though, do you agree with this? I think Manchester United, just because they don't have anything else to worry about, I feel like Manchester United are going to take up one of those.
Yeah, I think that they would probably be the more favourite of the three, because they are going from weekend to weekend.
No FA Cup this weekend either.
So you would have thought that'd be... He's boasting now, look at that, having no FA Cup.
Every cloud. The
fact that they have been terrible in cups is now going to... Well, we won the league like at 15.
Well, this is it. You just got to, make hay while the sun is shining in the league, I guess. Something like that. There's something there, isn't there? So there you go. Finally, on Premier League reaction, 3 points between City and Arsenal now at the time of recording, because Arsenal have to play today. It was nearly 9 points on the weekend though. That's the fine margins of the Premier League. It just changes like that. Where do you think Arsenal can or drop points, or will they drop points?
I feel like Arsenal's approach to this should be, I don't care. I
agree.
Like, we were a team that they were 9 points above won a game of football. Yeah. That would be like us being bothered about Brighton winning a game of football. Like, it doesn't matter, does it? That's how they should approach it. But I think it could be slightly disturbing for Arsenal, the fact that it's now 3 points. It should have been 9. They felt like it was 9. They had it. They felt 9 was in the bag. Now it's 3.
They've got a bit of, they've still got a few teams to play. They've got Chelsea on the 22nd. Sorry,
they've got
Spurs
Chelsea
on the 22nd of Feb. Then they've got Chelsea on the 1st of March, and they've got City in the league on the 18th of April.
That'll be the one.
Yeah. So
I don't know if it will,
Do you not?
No, if I was Arsenal, obviously incredibly frustrated about how City won at Anfield. But I think when you wake up on a Monday morning, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd go, there's nothing there to tell me they're good enough. No. 1, to catch us, 2, to overtake us.
Yeah. Did you think the professional performance against Fulham, though, coupled with the fact that they rescued the win at Anfield? So, like, the win at Anfield, you think, what's that going to mean?
So convincing though, isn't it?
And Gahey and Diaz are the new centre-back partnership. They start for the first time.
And Haaland scored again. Haaland's now scored the winner at Anfield and a goal against Fulham.
Never know.
Man City aren't going to just drop like a stone, but two of two things has got to happen, right? And I don't see both happening. Arsenal are going to have a dip in form, right? And City have got to be excellent. One of those might happen. I don't see both.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I just don't see those two coinciding, which allows City to overtake Arsenal. I think they're just too good all over.
They're going to press the self-destruct button at any point, though. It's going to be soon.
Yeah,
Chelsea.
It has to be soon if they're going to throw away.
Yeah.
But I hope I'm wrong, but I just think Arsenal. There's just a resilience about them I've not seen before.
Yeah, sure. Well, we'll be reacting as always next week to the FA Cup and whatever Arsenal's result was tonight. At the time of recording, it's not taken place yet. So there we go. As we move on to the Studs Up Aka, and I've talked about it nicely already. It's FA Cup weekend. Manchester United aren't in it, so I can just kick back and relax. That's a neutral. Again, silver lining. You know what I mean? I can no skin in the game for me. And we've got some cracking fixtures. I'm going to start with you, Rory. This Studs Up Aka will be available on site. It will be available on the app as well. 18 plus gamble aware, of course. You've been given Liverpool versus Brighton this weekend. Oh, is it an easy one
prediction,
for you?
don't you think? Brighton all over the place.
How did Brighton get this far? Who did they beat in the last round?
That's a great question. No idea.
Man United.
No,
I don't know. Was it Man United? Was it Man United?
Have you
actually erased? I thought you were joking.
Was it actually Manchester United?
Brighton knocked out Man United.
Oh my gosh!
I thought you were just playing along. You've actually erased it. It's like Men in Black.
That's what's happened.
Do you know what? It's all blurring into one. Yeah. I thought Grimsby was the.
Carabao.
No, that was League Cup. Yeah.
Carabao.
Moving on.
No, I think Liverpool. I think Liverpool just trounce Brighton. I really do. Yeah, I think Liverpool trounce. Liverpool will really be focusing on the cups. I think playing Brighton now is a dream, and Liverpool win the game 3-0.
3-0 as well. Well, fair enough. I'm not going to try and sway you. I'm going to lock it in.
Bit of a
Yeah, they're all over it.
Yeah, I know, but
they can sack that manager. People don't talk about it, do they? You know, some managers, like nobody would ever say this. God, Iraola's making a pig's ear of it because he's just seen as a darling. Whereas Iraola is making a pig's ear of it.
Yeah,
Hurtsler could easily be sacked, but people don't want to talk about it.
No.
I don't know about that. I think that Tony Bloom. I think he has expectations to be higher up the table than where they are. I think Hurtsler is on.
They're nice.
I think he is. Come in. I'm not saying now. I'm not saying now.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that they would expect to be doing and be better higher up the league. This is a football club that said European football, right? Tony Bloom will, once those standards have been reached, he doesn't strike me as being that man that will suffer that.
Yeah, no, fair. Well, a 3-0 loss to Liverpool won't help his cause, will it? But we'll lock it in. I've been given perhaps the tastiest fixture of the weekend, Villa versus Newcastle. That's a good one. I understand everyone's probably going to go Villa Park. They've got a very good record there. I watch them quite often. All my mates are Villa, so I do go and I see them play. I do feel like they're in the Europa League as well. They're very, very much in amongst the Champions League spots. I think this could be the game where they waver a little bit. I've just been seeing signs of wear and tear, in my opinion. They're grinding out the results, yes, which is fantastic, and that's a sign of champions. It's a sign of people who are competing for Champions League spots. But I feel like in this competition, I think Newcastle might get the better of them. I really do. Buoyed by that away win that they've just had on the weekend, I think they can go into this one, and it would be a fantastic result for them. But I think they're going to do it. So I'm going to say Newcastle 1-0. I think they're going to sneak a 1-0 away from home.
I see that. That's not.
It's not a bad prediction.
I think you make a good case for that result.
It's tempting to go Villa, of course it is, but I'm just going to. My gut say Newcastle, and I always trust it. So we'll go there. I'm locking Newcastle in. We've locked Liverpool in, and you've been given Southampton Leicester.
I have.
This is harder.
Yeah,
this is harder, but after what happened last weekend, which was a crazy game.
Oh yeah,
crazy game. I'm going to go for Leicester to win it. Southampton to win just because they're at home.
Okay.
And after what happened midweek, whenever was it, weekend or the 4-3? I'm talking about the 4-3.
Yeah, that was the weekend.
Yeah, that was the weekend. It's based purely on that. I just think Southampton, on the back of that result, will go in and win it.
And what's the score prediction?
2-0.
2-0. Oh, they're going to shut them out as well, are they? Okay, cool. 2-0. So we've gone Southampton at home, Liverpool at home, and we've gone for a cheeky Newcastle away win at Villa Park as well. We're going to get that Studs Are Backer on site, as I say. We might even boost it for you. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. 18 plus gambleaware.org, of course. And as always, we're the home of the Mount Rushmore. So I have smuggled in a few minutes into this podcast to talk about this week's topic, which is a very good one, and it's on the back of the news that Thomas Tuchel has extended his contract as England manager. So we're going to do the Mount Rushmore of England managers. Now there's obviously one that's going to make it straight away, of course, but quickly a line on the Tuchel, because I can see you shaking your head over there, Rory. What do you make of them extending it before the World Cup's even gone?
I think it's a disgrace. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. He's done nothing to deserve this. Like, talking about qualifying, England always qualify. Like, for the record, I don't think that Thomas Tuchel should be England manager anyway. I don't think it should be a German. I think it should be an Englishman as an Englishman.
What if
as an
wins the
England
World
manager.
Cup? Will you cheer?
Of course you will.
I'll cheer, but I believe it to be cheating. I consider it.
What about Chelsea? Chelsea was Thomas.
Of course, I'll cheer. No, but club football. What is international football? International football, by its definition, is supposed to be a representation of the best of what we can offer.
I don't care. I couldn't care less.
Well, then why don't we just put Rodri central midfield then?
Because that can't happen.
Yeah, but it's the same principle, isn't it?
We play for Spain. So
no, but it's the same principle. Thomas Tuchel's managed in Germany.
Okay, what about Declan Rice, who played for the Republic? What about him? Have you got a problem with him?
Declan Rice qualifies to play for England. Thomas Tuchel would not qualify to play for England.
No, not play, but he qualifies to manage England.
Yeah, but that's just ridiculous.
Do you think there should be a rule imposed that you have to be from the country to manage the country?
I don't think it should be a rule, because I think that there are some nations that need the advancement, need the help. Right? But we have the richest league in the world. We have the biggest league in the world.
Couldn't care less.
No, but I appreciate. Not many people could. I think most people will agree with you. Yeah, but I don't think we should have a German manager.
You just it just comes open and shut.
When that first whistle goes in the World Cup, I won't be looking at Thomas Tuchel thinking he's German. That will not cross my mind.
You wouldn't cheer harder if he was English.
If genuinely, if an Englishman was managing Germany, and that say Gareth Southgate went to manage Germany, and Germany won the World Cup, a little bit goes. Well, kind of England won it for them, right?
No, not for me.
Yeah, of course.
Not for me. No, I don't see it.
How can it not? If Gareth Southgate won Germany a World Cup, by extension, that would mean that England had kind of won a World Cup.
Rightly or wrongly, I just detach myself from the manager's nationality. I never factor that kind of stuff. With the players, obviously, they have to be that nationality. With the manager, I feel like it's a bit of a free hit. Is my opinion. It doesn't,
I think most people agree with you. I just think it's ludicrous.
And also, they're failed. The decision to give him a contract extension, I think, is probably partly down to the fact that there's going to be a lot of clubs, it would appear, looking for new managers in the summer, right?
But how does this help?
Well,
how does this help? How does giving Thomas Tuchel a contract
it's a
stop
hands-off
Man United?
warning.
It's not hands off though. If Real Madrid want Tuchel, they go and get him. If Man United want Tuchel, they go and get him.
I think that there's an element of he's got a contract, he's happy.
They'll get some compensation, but they'll still get him.
Yeah, I don't bother me. I don't know how you can get upset over something like that. You can sign a new contract.
There's no need to give him a new contract.
Cup, take us further, do what you can.
How can you give it? We did this to Capello. Capello effectively bullied the FA to giving him a contract pre-South Africa. We got launched out in Bloemfontein. Remember Lampard?
Yeah,
we get launched out in Bloemfontein. Terrible World Cup for England. Yeah. And we've already given Capello a new contract. Say we get done by Mexico in the last 16.
Yeah.
We've given the manager a new contract.
There is an element of truth about that. There is an element of truth
about that. I do take your point.
But the truth, also, what is also true is that England managers only are employed for three games. It's the quarter, semis and finals.
Yes.
Because every manager should get there. I don't care whether he's German, Spanish.
We've given him a new contract because we beat Andorra.
But
well done, Thomas. Excellent.
But they're the 3 games. He's given a contract, quarter, semis, final.
In a word, do England win the World Cup, Jace?
Great chance. We have a great chance.
Yes or no? Do you think we win it?
We've got a great chance.
Rory, do we win it?
We should.
I don't think we
can.
We should.
We can.
I don't think we will.
We can. We can.
Oh, we can?
Yeah.
Oh, listen. No, we can.
We can. Everything's going to plan. I think the draw's been fairly favourable. The destinations are fairly favourable. Like one in Texas, two like New York and New England.
Yeah.
I feel like we should.
Listen, we've got a chance, and that's all we need. Back onto the Mount Rushmore then. the Mount Rushmore of England managers. So I've got a nice prompt list in front of me. So, but I'll defer to you guys.
Three that leap
I
off the
think
page
it's
for me.
obvious, yeah.
Alf Ramsey,
Yeah,
of
obviously.
course, has to make
Jewel
it.
in the crown, Ramsey.
Yeah.
I think Venable, Southgate, obviously both.
Robson.
Venable, Southgate, Robson.
Oh, is that it? Are we done?
Would you have Southgate?
No,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no,
Would you?
100%. Here, the front three. If you're playing a front three, you've got Ramsey, Sir Alf. Right?
Yeah, of course.
You have to have Sir Bobby Robson in there, and
Okay.
Gareth Southgate.
I think with Southgate as well, you have to acknowledge it went so stale by Qatar,
Yeah.
but Russia was a dream. And England was a dream. You know when it was in England?
He didn't get.
No, Russia was a dream. Russia was amazing.
But one thing I will caveat, right, with the penalty shootout, for example, the lads that missed the penalty shootout, I think he got that all wrong.
He did. He made mistakes. Mancini beat him at Wembley badly.
I think that, yes, he did get us there. I also think, not directly, because you can't say that about a football manager, but he was also a big part to playing why we didn't win it.
Agreed. But just cast your minds back to Colombia.
It was an amazing moment.
There were some unbelievable moments. There were
great moments.
All that atomic kitten stuff.
Would you have him
That's
managing Chelsea, Southgate?
But that's the
Is
reason.
he that good?
That's the reason Thomas Tuchel had been brought in. Let's cut it right down. Let's trim it right down. Gareth Southgate done as well as he could, but there were moments against Croatia, moments against Italy, where you're looking for that tactical nous change that can swing a game that was going against us back in our favour. France is another one, right?
Yeah.
Thomas Tuchel has the minerals and the credentials to go and change a game like those.
Yeah,
It's a shame for Southgate because the defining one became when we went to Germany, and it was just terrible.
Yeah, it was.
Kieran Trippier at left back all the time and not playing the players.
The left hand side was an absolute joke.
Well, we didn't have one. We basically
played Foden out there.
We basically played. We made the pitch a third smaller because Kieran Trippier got the ball cut in. Foden got the ball cut in. Nobody was making use of that side of the pitch.
I think we may, and I'm going to put the question out there, are we overlooking a manager, by the way, 100% win record? Sam Allardyce. Come on, he's got to have a shout, hasn't he?
Mate, one game, one win. Can't argue.
Come on. Right, so...
I'll tell you the worst is ever.
Oh, go on.
Roy Hodgson.
The reverse.
Roy Hodgson ruined my life.
Sven?
Twice.
Sven?
No, Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson.
Capello takes some beating.
And Capello?
In South Africa, that was...
Mate,
Whoa.
Roy Hodgson, undoubtedly England's worst manager, and ruined my life. Listen to what he did. I went to Brazil, right? I left the job, I saved up, I went to Brazil for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We are out of the World Cup. It's a new low for English football.
yeah.
We're
And the
out of the World Cup before we even played our third game. We were out after 2 games.
Did we draw both?
We drew with Italy. No, we drew with Italy, and then we lost in
Chile?
Sao Paulo to Luis Suarez.
Was it?
Luis Suarez,
Uruguay.
Uruguay.
And then
And
guess what
Italy.
happened? So he ruins my life in Brazil. I'm there for 3 weeks, by the way. We're out after 2 games. Then they give him a job again. We go to France, and on a Monday night in Nice, he gets done by Iceland.
That was
That's
Roy
that's the
Hodgson.
lowest.
Roy Hodgson, persona non grata. Roy Hodgson is barred from studs up.
Fine.
That was the
Fine,
lowest
fine.
point I can think of as an
Me
that
too.
Harry Kane
on
against
corners and
Iceland.
that.
Whoa,
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Do you know what? I completely agree. So he definitely doesn't make the Mount Rushmore. So we picked it. Let us know in the comments what you think the Mount Rushmore should be. Were we right about the studs up back? Are you with us? And every other issue we've discussed today. There's so much going on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And the beautiful thing about studs up, we'll be back next week. Take care.